Hi, it's the 24th of October 2024 and it's a bad weather day. It's very wet and very windy. In fact, it's the first named storm of the year. This is Storm Ashley. So I'm not going out today. I don't mind going out in the rain. It's the wind I don't like. When you try walking in the countryside in the wind, you lose your sense of hearing. You tend to stumble more because you've lost your sense of hearing, your balance goes a little bit. The birds are skulking, they keep in the bottoms of the bushes. I don't like going out in the wind. So today I'm spending the day on the computer, but I haven't actually got that much to do. I'm usually up to date with all my processing of photographs. It's always been important to me to turn pictures around very quickly once I've taken them. So photography has been a bit slow lately, so I haven't got that much to do. I've decided to do the firmware update on the OM1 Mk2. The update's been available for some time. I'm not a great enthusiast for firmware updates, don't really believe in them, and I think I'm in the minority when I say that. Most people are very keen to do firmware updates, and if that firmware update is supposed to improve the camera especially from a focusing point of view, most people tend to think, oh, I can see a difference, it's much faster on the autofocus. I'm not. I have never done a firmware update and seen an improvement in the autofocus. I can see an improvement when I buy a new camera sometimes, but firmware updates, no. But I know I'm in the minority there. Most of you are very positive about firmware updates. I'm also a bit wary of them, and it's not just with OM cameras. I know other brands of cameras have this problem, that they do a firmware update and it causes problems. So I don't want to be the first in the queue to do a firmware update. So I've not rushed to do it. I'm going to do it differently today. I'm going to do it through the mobile phone using the OM Share software rather than plug it into the computer with a USB cable. For some reason, it's supposed to be safer to do through your mobile phone. I don't know why that is, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'm not doing this from the point of view of an expert because I've never done it this way before. I'm just showing you the steps that I'm going through and going to record it on YouTube. I do know that people have been having problems doing this update using an Apple phone. All I know is whichever phone you're using, you should have the latest operating system updated, and the OM Share software should be the latest version as well. So I'm using a Samsung phone, and that will be the first thing I check. Have I got the latest version of the OM software installed? So the first thing to do is to make sure the OM Share software is up to date on your mobile phone. And the easiest way to do that is to go to the Google Play Store, which is this icon here, and we start that up. Now these are all the apps you can install on your mobile phone. We need to search for OM Share. Now there's a search option, it's this one down here. So we hit that. And in the search box at the top, I would type in OM Share. Now this is something I've already done earlier in the day. So I don't actually have to type it in because it's already there for me as an option. So that's put it into the search box. And in fact the software has come up very quickly. It's this one here, OM Image Share. If it needs updating, it will say so about here where it says open. It doesn't need updating, so it's just telling me it's already installed, it's already ready to run, and I can just hit the open and go. So if you know your software is up to date, you don't have to do that. You would just go to the icon that is your OM Share, and that would be, in my case, here it is. So we just start up OM Share. Now that's the sort of home screen for it. What we're going to do now is to connect the mobile to the camera. And I'm going to start off on the camera side. So if you're in Super Control Panel, you won't be able to do this. So you've got to hit that button again. This is the OK button. And get back to, if I just keep changing it, it will eventually come back to this screen, which is just the live view screen. And the top left hand corner here next to the battery status is your Bluetooth connection, and I'm just going to touch that and it starts up the connection. And we want device connection. We're going to connect to this device, the mobile phone. So we'll just OK that. now trying to connect, and that's where we have to get to. On this side, back onto the mobile phone now, what we touch is the little camera symbol at the bottom of the screen. And if we touch that, we have an option for easy setup, and that's what we want. We're going to take easy setup. Now that screen is telling us that on the back of the camera we can have a QR code, and we can simply scan it, and then we don't have to worry about passwords and codes, etc. It will do it automatically. Now to get that up, this screen on the camera is telling us I can press the info button, which is this one, or I can just press the screen just there, and up comes the QR code. So I take the mobile phone, oh sorry, I have to hit the scan button here, and put it over the QR code, and that's it. It's done. It's got all the coding it wants already filled in for us, so we don't have to do anything. And we just hit this blue button, start setup. Then we have to hit register. Now the two are trying to talk to each other. I find this to be 100% reliable. It does it first time, every time. Even when I'm filming myself talking about it, it's going to do it. When it does, the screen on the back of the camera will change. It just says connect to a device now, and this is telling us that the setup is complete. We can close that screen. There's usually another screen you have to close as well. Yes, here it is. It's another one just confirming you're connected, so we close that one. That's it. The two devices are talking to each other. You can do things like remote control now. You can control your camera, operate the camera from your phone, change all the settings. You can import photographs from your camera to your phone. This is the manual, the camera how to. You can edit photographs. You can add geotags. We don't want to do any of those. The only ones I've ever done is remote control, and occasionally, maybe twice, I've imported photographs as well. But what we want to do now is go into the camera settings and update the firmware. To do that, we go to the cog wheel or the gear wheel, top right hand corner. We press that, and we're looking for camera management, which is the second one down. And then we want update firmware, which is this one here. So we press on that. And it's checking the firmware on the camera to see which version it is. It's saying it's version 1.1 at the moment. And we have an option to check for updates. So we're going to check for updates. If I had a lens fitted to the camera body, it would also be checking the firmware update for the lens, but I've only got the body connected. And that is telling us that for this camera there is version 1.2 available. And do we want to update? Well, we do. We want to update. So we hit that. This is all your licensing information. And we have to agree to that. So we have to press the blue button, agree. Now it's asking us, well, it's telling us what it's going to do, but the first thing it's going to do is to download the firmware update. So we have a download button here. This is the stage to be doubly certain your battery in the camera is fully charged, and in the mobile phone as well, but they both are. They're both fully charged. So I'm hitting the download button, and it's downloading the information. Now it's saving the camera settings. These are things like the custom functions that I've got set up, which I make good use of. Now it's transferring the firmware from the mobile to the camera. Very important now, you do not switch the camera off. It's telling us it's only 0% done at the moment. Hopefully that's going to speed up a bit. And it's starting to go. I'm obviously going to have to fast forward here, as you'll be quite bored watching this happen. Again, it's warning us not to switch the camera off. Now this is a very important stage. The mobile phone has got a message on the screen saying that until the word OK appears on the camera, you mustn't do anything to the camera. You've got to leave it. Now this is the critical part. The update is actually taking place. So on the back of the camera we've got a warning sign, don't touch. And until you get that OK message, you don't do anything. And when you do, we have to check this box here and press the next button. This takes about 3 to 4 minutes at this stage. And again, I'm going to have to speed up the camera. I shall be bored watching it. And there it is. We have the OK button on the back of the camera. So now we can hit this checkbox, and then we hit the next button to go on to the next stage. And at this point it's saying we now have to switch the camera off and back on again. And again, we've got a check button, and we don't hit that check button until we switch the camera off and back on. So off, back on. Oh, it's asking us to put the language and the date in. Not every firmware update does this, but this one is, so we want English. Oh, we've got to put the date in here. 2024 10 20th 14. Oops. That's the date in. Then the time zone somewhere here. There must be London. I guess I went the wrong way, but we got to London and that's it. So we switched the camera off, we switched it back on, and now we can now hit the checkbox and hit the next button. So now what it wants to do is we've got to connect the two again because it wants to reload the camera settings. So we come back to the live viewer screen, and up here we press the icon again, device connection, hit that. Get back to that screen, it says connect to a device. So we're ready to go over here. We check the box and we hit the load. Now it's going to actually connect at that point and loading the camera settings. This shouldn't take very long at all. All steps of the camera update have been completed. The camera automatically restart, which is just done. We can hit that. Job is done. We'll just go and check it. We've got firmware update again there. Click on that and it should confirm that we've now got version 1.2. There we go, version 1.2 is installed. Now I'll just show you one more thing, because it is possible that you can't use your touchscreen, because it is possible to turn off the touchscreen, so you can't use it. So you wouldn't be able to press that icon. So if you can't access that icon, you can go into your menus, pressing the menu button here, and then go across to the wrench tool, which is this top one here. And on page 4, we are on page 4, it's telling us that over here we can come down to Wi-Fi connection, select that, and you get to that same screen where you do device connection. So that's it. I've done both of my OM1 Mark II bodies. They're both up to date, no dramas. It went very smoothly, but I do know it's something you do need to do with care. Make sure your batteries are fully charged and you do it very methodically, because it can go wrong, and when it does, your camera's basically written off. Well, you've got to send it in for repair. Nothing you can put right yourself. Thanks for watching.